Jesus said the words, "Love your enemies, bless them who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Don't even the tax collectors do that? And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing? What are you doing more than others are? Don't even pagans do that? Be therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." Our topic today is the secret of self-transcendence. Self-transcendence, or ego transcendence. Getting beyond the little self, which is limited and separate, and tune in to the great self, the capital S self, which is in union with God. And Sri Krishna explains. He says, there is only one self dwelling in all. Nothing can harm that self. Grieve not, therefore, Arjuna, for anything that occurs outwardly in the manifested world. Krishna reassures us that God is pleased with any sincere effort to know him. To one who offers even a flower or a leaf in my name, I myself receive that offering. Now, as lovely as that is, it's no excuse for laziness, as Krishna points out elsewhere, when he says, among thousands of men, scarcely one strives for spiritual perfection. And among those blessed ones who seek me, scarcely one out of many thousands perceives me as I am. Yogananda ji would sometimes quote Adi Shankaracharya when he made a similar extreme statement. He said, childhood is busy with toys. Youth is busy with sex. Middle age is busy with earning money. Old age is busy with regrets and illnesses. Nobody is busy with God. And such is the world. And here, Krishna tells us to have courage, to follow our inner guidance, and not to pay too much attention to what others think of us or what they expect. Swami Kriyananda said that most people in the world are wrong about most things anyways. We need to aim high, to do our best. And if God personally receives even a leaf that's offered, what if we offer our whole selves in service to him? There's no end to how well he will take care of us. Here's one story of this kind of courage. And Nitai was the founder of the Education for Life schools, which started in California with Ananda. And he told the story of how an Education for Life school was started in Slovenia. Now, I don't exactly know where Slovenia is, except it's some small country in Eastern Europe. But there was a devotee from there who was visiting our retreat center in Italy. And she was speaking with Nayaswami Shivani. Now, Shivani was here recently, and so it's not difficult for those who met her to imagine this conversation and what Shivani said. And this devotee, Tina was her name, she said to Shivani, you know, I have this dream that maybe someday I'll start an Ananda school. And Shivani said, do it now. The masters are just waiting to help you. They're bored. Just tell them what you want and what you need. And so Tina got inspired by this pep talk. And she went home to her meditation room, and she looked at the gurus, and she said, Babaji, you are good at manifesting things, manifesting buildings, including palaces. You choose a building for our school. And then she said, Lahiri, you're a parent. Help to choose the parents that would be right to cooperate on this project. And then she said, Sri Yukteswar, you're the ultimate teacher. Choose the best teachers for this school. And then she thought, you know, this is a conservative Christian country, and Jesus, you're well respected by the Ministry of Education. I want you to cut through the red tape and get our school registered with the government. And then to Yogananda, she said, I want you to stay with me and just so that I don't miss any opportunities coming up. And the school started out very well. And then after about a year, she realized that there was one department that she didn't address, that she didn't give a responsibility to, and that was finances. And she started to feel the lack of finances. And so she thought of Rajarsi Janakananda, the chief disciple of Yogananda Ji. And it happens to be the birth anniversary of Rajarsi today. And Rajarsi was a self-made multimillionaire. And so she tuned into his success to help with finances. And the school became very successful. In fact, I heard that it was the only school in the country that wasn't government-sponsored that was recognized officially by the government. Because Tina got herself out of the way, got her ego out of the way, and was willing to be courageous, to open herself up, to be a clear channel for God's energy. A member of one of our study groups, she felt that there was an old friend, a good friend, who was sort of going in the wrong direction, and she felt she had to write a letter to this person. And she spent a lot of time writing the perfect letter. She showed it to several other people. They just thought it was clear, it was respectful, it was just the right thing. But sending it to her friend got so angry she just rejected it entirely. And so months went by, and this devotee thought, well, now let me try again, but let me pray to Yogananda to guide every word, that I don't write any word which is not his words. And she did so, and her friend responded with all of these hearts and smileys and said, this is the best letter I ever received. I'm not a teacher, but if I were, I would give you an A+ for this letter. You just really helped me so much. there was a lady, her name was Corrie ten Boom, and she was put into a Nazi concentration camp, and her body suffered, but she made it inspiring because of her strong faith in God. And she helped many other people. It was overall a positive, uplifting experience. And years later, she wrote about it. She was traveling and lecturing, sharing these experiences and sharing inspiration with people. And in one lecture at the back of the room, she was horrified. She recognized one of the former guards who had tortured her years earlier. And at the end of the lecture, the man came up to her and said, you know, your lecture has touched my heart, so much. I feel that God has forgiven my errors. And will you too also forgive me? And she never imagined she would be faced with such a thing. And it's like she felt that she couldn't do it. But what she could do is she could pray to God and say, will you forgive him? Will you forgive him through me? And then timidly she put out her hand to this man. And she felt such a divine flow of love and flow of power that came through her. That wasn't her, it was God's energy. This ultimately, this perfection that we seek, it doesn't come from our efforts, it doesn't come from ego. As Corrie ten Boom demonstrated, it comes from God's grace. And we just need to put our lives in his hands. And Swami Kriyananda said that true happiness is a long succession of little decisions, simply to be happy in the moment. He said, as my guru said, the minutes are more important than the years. And even if the path may be a long one, at every step, it's very satisfying and very rewarding. When our friends attend one of our pilgrimages or retreats that we have, it's like what they're doing is spending several days with meditators and sort of being in that environment. And afterwards, what we see is just a new light in their eyes that just wasn't there 3 or 4 days earlier. And Swami Kriyananda said that the more we attune to inner light in meditation, the more our mind takes on that quality of life. And in meditation, the mind wanders. This is what the mind does. And that wandering is the ego. It's the little self. And every time we bring the mind back from the wandering to one point of concentration, every time we do that, we get a little bit freer from that ego. We gain a little bit more control over our mind. We step closer and closer to that perfection. And only meditation can give that gift to us, to live the inward life, whatever else we do in our outer life. Thank you.
Sometimes when we hear these words, this command by Jesus to be perfect, part of us sort of recoils, like, maybe I don't want to be that perfect. And Saint Augustine, a great Christian saint, said, "Lord, make me good, but not yet." I think this is part of the difficulty in becoming saints, in becoming like these great masters, is that part of ourselves doesn't really want to. You know, we're still having fun riding the roller coaster of ups and downs and ups and downs. We don't like the downs, but we like the ups. And so there's like our full energy isn't going in one direction towards sainthood. And don't we all, in our hearts, want to become saints? We want to have the bliss that God's perfect children have, just feeling that Satchidananda, this is where we're from, this is what we're living for, it's where we're going, so why not grasp it now? So what's in the way of that? Our karma, these vrittis that we brought with us when we were born, and so we have these likes and dislikes. I really like this person. I really don't like this other person. So how can I love my enemies when I really don't love this person? How do I do it? You know, I mean, I can try to grin my teeth and bear it and try to tolerate his presence, something like that. But that's not genuine and from that heart. And that's sort of just an outward show. It's not true transformation. So I think at the beginning, it's just try with your behavior to switch a negative quality to a positive one. We probably know from our classes that each of the chakras have positive and negative qualities. So any negative quality that we find ourselves with, try to use an affirmation or use our introspection and willpower and practice to change it to a positive one. Like, let's say if I'm stubborn and just thinking of myself all the time, like the negative qualities of the first chakra, I can use that solid earth energy and become loyal to my meditation practice, loyal to my guru, steadfast in my spiritual path. So that's one way, and all of a sudden that energy from the first chakra starts rising up. Second chakra, for, wishy-washy, watery, just like, I'll just follow anybody that comes along, versus, just going with Divine Mother's flow. Whatever Divine gives me, I'll accept as a gift for my growth. And I'll be creative and intuitive and use that in my spiritual path, in my work, and seeing in a creative way positive qualities of people around me. And then we can just go through all the chakras like that. But we can start one by one aligning our spiritual aspirations to be good, to be better, to improve, to evolve on the spiritual path. More and more and more perfectly, we can be a channel of the divine. So we can aspire to align those spiritual goals with our actions. So that's sort of on a outward, slightly still egoic way that we can try to perfect ourselves. But true perfection, we can't find it with the ego. We can't find it in Maya, in this duality, because no matter what, there's going to be shadow. No matter how much light we throw out there, there's going to be shadow trying to pull us down. So we have to work with God, in God, to try to get beyond this Maya in order to really be perfect. And not only be perfect because I want to be perfect, because we want to be perfect channels. We want to be like them. We want to bring more and more light and love and joy and peace into this world. We don't want to be an obstacle for it. And so, what are the ways that we can do this? How can we align more with God? So, as Keshava said, meditation. Only then can we really remember our soul's true identity. This is the grace that God gives us, that the masters give us in meditation. It's that smriti, that remembering of my divine reality. If I can remember my divine reality, I can remember the divine reality of that person that I don't like very much. at least within my heart and my consciousness, I can be aware that this person also has a soul that is one with God. I am actually one with that person. I am one with all that is. I am one with nature. I am one with all creatures. And I am one with every situation, obstacle, person that comes in front of me. And if I'm one with God, then any person that comes in front of me, I attracted, because I believe the teachings. I believe that what comes to me comes as a gift from God for my entertainment and my education. So if it's come to me, what do I have to learn from this? So then all of a sudden there's no obstacles in life, because everything is a gift for my growth. But we can only have that attitude if we remember in meditation day after day our true reality and our true purpose of what it is we're doing here. What it is that we're doing here is trying to become perfect. We may not know it, but that's why we're here. That's why we're here. And then another way that we can experience God's grace is just be in the present. Be in the eternal now. Everything that has happened before in our past lives, in this life, has led up to this moment right here where we're sitting. I mean, everything. And this moment will lead to the next moment, will lead to the next moment, will lead to the next moment, and nowhere is there a break. Even when we leave these bodies, there's not a break. We take our consciousness with us, we take our astral body with us, we take our chakras with us. So there's no break. Next life, there they are again, here we are. And so if we can get that perspective that this soul is eternal and it's just moving through space and time, what appears to be this Maya, this duality, it's just a soul moving through, growing, learning, becoming perfect. And so what is the past? What is the future? In Master's poem, Samadhi says, past, present, future, no more for me. Just ever present, all flowing, I, everywhere. Center everywhere, circumference nowhere. In the divine, there is no space, there is no time. So why are we always so worried about the future or grieving about the past? No point. This soul is always right now. We can only love now. We can only learn now. We can only give to others and serve now. We can only be in bliss now. No other time exists. And the more we introspect on that, the more we have that awareness of the highest level of our consciousness, attuning with the gurus, attuning with God, we realize that we can just look. I had a friend that was leaving their body. She had a vision of 1,000 different faces, and she told my other friend, I realize all those faces are my past lives. And it makes it very easy to let go of this one, because it's just another life coming and going. So she wasn't holding on to this life, holding on to this body, this situation, this personality, this business person or parent or child or student. We're just holding on to this self-identification. That is an illusion. It's not who we are. It's only a role we've taken on so we can learn who we really are, which is a perfect soul. And that is what Jesus is asking of us. And what Krishna is saying is, not many people go for this. 1 out of 1,000 maybe seeks me, and 1 out of many thousands may find me. We have to be one of those thousands, each of us. Our odds are very good here, the fact that you're here this morning. So just remember that if somebody blames you, if somebody praises you, it doesn't change who you are. Yogananda said, praise or blame does not change who we are with God. So in Yogananda's poem Samadhi, he says, vanish the veils of light and shade, gone the dim sensory mirage. These masters, they see the light behind the mirage. They see that, they can be in the world, but they know this isn't the true thing that's going on. It's light and shadow. And by gazing up at the spiritual eye, by living from the spiritual eye, they see God shining through every situation, every person. So at the end, we say, what enemies? Enemies don't exist. What obstacles? Obstacles don't exist. And we live in that Satchidananda awareness for which we were born to experience. God bless you.